Across the street at 6 o'clock, the flower shop hangs up a sign, half-price flowers after 6, to save what's left behind. Every evening people stop on their way back home, picking little pieces of beauty to take along. The teacher buys the yellow ones for a vase beside her bed. An old man grabs a bunch of white for someone he still misses. A girl in headphones picks one rose, then smiles before she leaves, like she just remembered something she almost didn't keep. Half-price flowers waiting for a second chance. One more night, one more home, one more place to stand. Half-price flowers, maybe we're the same, looking for somebody to carry us away. Cut. From my seat beside the window, I watch the colors disappear. Red and pink and lavender, gone one by one from here. Soon the sign comes off the door. The sidewalk grows quiet, but somehow every passing face looks a little lighter. Maybe nothing lasts forever. Maybe that's the reason why the smallest things can matter more than we realize. Cut. Half-price flowers, the sun is sinking low. Everybody takes a little color back into the world. Half-price flowers, the street lights start to glow, and the empty buckets smile before it's time to close. Cut. Before it's time to close. Cut. She's here almost every day around 11:23. Orders something different, but always drinks the tea while everybody's scrolling or staring out somewhere. She's busy drawing little worlds that weren't already there. Tiny houses, tiny cats, tiny clouds with tiny hats, spaceships on a coffee cup, mountains growing from a muffin. Every napkin in the place has somehow become her canvas. The girl who doodles turns ordinary things into stories. A paper moon, a dancing spoon, a rocket made of whipped cream. The girl who doodles doesn't even know she's making everybody smile everywhere she goes. Cut. The owner keeps a secret box hidden underneath the till, filled with all the sketches that she leaves behind. Still, some are funny, some are strange, some don't seem to make much sense, but nobody ever throws them out, not even once. Maybe magic doesn't shout. Maybe it just sits quietly at a corner table, drawing little galaxies. Cut. piece gets left behind again. The girl who doodles walks out through the door and leaves the cafe a little brighter than before. A little brighter than before. Cut. It wasn't in the forecast, just a cloud that wandered by. People started running from the suddenly gray sky. The cafe filled up quickly, every table, every chair. Strangers sharing corners like they planned to meet there. A man in a business suit held the door for everyone. A student shared her charger with a guy she'd never known. Someone moved a little closer to make another seat. Funny what can happen when the weather changes things. 5-minute rain, that's all it took to turn a normal afternoon into a better one. 5-minute rain, then it disappeared, leaving little stories floating in the air. Cut. Cut. Soon the sunlight found its way back across the street. People grabbed umbrellas and returned to where they'd been. The room became familiar, the way it was before, but somehow it felt warmer than it did before. Some moments don't arrive with fireworks or signs. They simply happen right on time. Cut. 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 5-minute rain gone without a trace, but every smiling stranger left a little something here. 5-minute rain, maybe that's enough. A tiny interruption that made the day feel good. Cut. Just 5 minutes. Every Tuesday around noon, she arrives before the crowd, orders tea and strawberry cake, never stays too long. Same blue sweater every week, same seat beside the glass, same little smile she gives when the waiter walks past. She reads books without a cover, writes things in the margins too, sometimes laughs without a reason, like she's talking to the moon. I don't know her favorite song or where she goes at night, but somehow she's become part of this little life. Strawberry cake and a seat by the window, a page turns slowly as the afternoon rolls on. Strawberry cake and the sunlight in her hair, some people never know how beautiful they are. Cut. Today she left a little note forgotten by her cup. The waiter ran to catch her, but she'd already gone. Nobody read a single word, we left it where it lay, like some stories should remain exactly that way. Maybe mystery is part of the charm, maybe not knowing keeps a moment warm. Cut. Strawberry cake and a seat by the window, the chair is empty now, but the feeling lingers on. Strawberry cake and another Tuesday noon, maybe next week she'll be be back again soon. Cut. Maybe next week. Every Thursday afternoon at 3:15, someone plays a piano in the room above me. Never loud enough to know what the song is called. Just a few familiar notes drifting through the wall. The old man by the counter stops and smiles each time, like he's heard the melody 1,000 different nights. The girl who writes in notebooks looks up from her page. For a moment everyone seems carried away. Who are you playing upstairs? And why does it feel like I've always been there? A room I've never seen, a song I've never known, yet somehow it feels a little like home. Cut. Sometimes the notes are happy, sometimes they sound blue, sometimes they disappear before they make it through. But every single Thursday the whole cafe grows still, like the music knows exactly what nobody else will. Maybe we're all listening for something more than sound. Maybe we're just hoping to be found. Cut. Who are you playing upstairs? The sunlight's fading slowly across the wooden chairs. The final chord arrives, then quietly is gone, and everybody stays a moment too long. Cut. Until next Thursday comes. Found an old box yesterday, hidden on the highest shelf. Dusty corners, faded tape, pieces of another self. Then a picture caught my eye, taken years and years ago. You were laughing at the sea, wearing someone else's coat. Funny how a photograph can open every door. I remember that small cafe near the station by the square. We would spend the afternoon like we had forever there. face is probably gone, but the feeling somehow stayed. Polaroid summer, frozen in a little frame. Coffee rings and ocean air. Still remember your name. Polaroid summer, everything has changed, yet a tiny piece of us stayed exactly the same. The record spins above my head, people talking soft and low. Outside strangers pass me by without a place to go. I turn the picture one more time and smile before I leave. Some memories don't ask to stay, they simply visit when they please. Maybe that's the beauty of it. Not every story needs another page. Polaroid summer, faded but alive, like a song I haven't heard in a very long time. Polaroid summer, drifting through my mind, and it disappears again with the closing of my eyes. Polaroid summer. There's a little bakery 2 streets from my place. The lady at the counter knows my name these days. She hands me my coffee before I even ask, says same as always. I smile and laugh. By the window sits a dog, waiting for its friend. Every Sunday morning, like a ritual again. A little girl keeps waving every time she walks by. The dog wags his tail like it made his life. Nothing special, nothing new, just a Sunday window view. People come, people go, like a quiet little show. And somehow I love it all. Cut. A couple share a muffin, a student reads alone. Someone's making plans over a ringing phone. The sunlight paints the tables in lines of golden cream. Tiny ordinary moments, better than they seem. Maybe happiness isn't something far away. Maybe it's hiding in these little everyday things. Cut. Nothing special, nothing new, just a Sunday window view. People come, people go, like a quiet little show. And somehow I love it all. Maybe this is all I need, a coffee, a seat, and a Sunday window view. You asked if this seat was free. I said go ahead. You smiled and put your coffee down and opened the book. already met. Table for two on a rainy afternoon. Your coffee, my coffee, a song we both pretend we're not listening to. Table for two, maybe that's enough. Cut. Cut. The rain kept drawing lines across the window frame. You laughed at something on your phone and I laughed just the same. Maybe some stories don't need a beginning. Maybe some feelings arrive before their names. Cut. Table for two. The rain is slowing down. You stand up, wave goodbye, and leave without a sound. Table for two. Still somehow you're sitting here right now. The coffee's getting cold beside an open book. I've read the same old page 100 times tonight. Outside the window pane, the city hums away like it's got somewhere else it needs to be. And I don't mind taking my time. Maybe tomorrow I'll figure it out. Maybe tomorrow the noise fades out. But tonight I'm just letting go. Maybe tomorrow the answers arrive. Maybe tomorrow I'll learn how to fly. But tonight I'm alright, right here. The speakers softly play a song I've never heard, but somehow every word feels familiar. The room is glowing gold, the world is moving slow, and for a little while that's enough. And I don't mind taking my time. Maybe tomorrow I'll figure it out. Maybe tomorrow the noise fades out. But tonight I'm just letting go. upside down on every table now. The clock is moving slow, but I don't wanna go. A record softly plays an old familiar phrase. The city fades away like rain against the glass. Maybe tonight I can stay here a little longer. Coffee after midnight, watching shadows dance, thinking of the little things that never had a chance. Coffee after midnight, nothing left to prove, just another quiet song floating through the room. The street outside is still, the world has lost its rush. A half-forgotten smile appears and disappears. The lights are turning gold, the air is growing warm. Some memories remain without a single word. Maybe tonight I can stay here a little longer. Coffee after midnight, watching shadows dance, thinking of the little things that never had a chance. Coffee after midnight, nothing left to prove, just another quiet song floating through the room. Ooh, time moves slower here. Ooh, like it knows my name. Coffee after midnight, watching shadows dance, thinking of the little things that never had a chance. Coffee after midnight, nothing left to prove, just another quiet song floating through the room. You were drawing little circles on the corner of a receipt, while pretending not to notice you were sitting next to me. The rain had stopped an hour ago, the cafe hummed along, and somebody in the corner was singing off-key to a song. You folded up the paper like it was something rare. Twist it once, twist it twice, then slipped it on your finger there. You laughed and called it diamond, worth at least 1,000,000 dreams. I said I'd probably buy one too, if they were sold in stores like these. Paper ring receipt, cheap as it could be, but somehow in that moment it looked expensive to me. Paper ring receipt, made in 30 seconds flat. Funny how the smallest things can make a day like that. Cut. The barista wrote a smiley face beside your cup today. You pointed like you'd won a prize and couldn't hide your face. The whole room felt a little lighter than it did before, like somebody opened up a window nobody saw. Maybe happiness is awkward, maybe happiness is small, maybe happiness is laughing at nothing much at all. Cut. Paper ring receipts still somewhere out there. There's a handwritten sign, taped crooked by the door. Lemon pie on Thursdays, just like every week before. People start arriving early just to get a slice, like they've discovered treasure hidden in plain sight. A lawyer skips his lunch break, a teacher changes plans, a couple drives across the city just because they can. Funny how a simple thing can pull a crowd together for an hour or two, no matter what the weather. Lemon pie Thursday, bright and sweet and light, a little bit of sunshine on an ordinary day. Lemon pie Thursday, everybody knows some things are worth waiting for, even if they're small. Cut. By 3 o'clock the tray is empty, only crumbs remain. Someone sighs dramatically and promises to come again. The baker wipes her furry hands and laughs behind the glass, already knowing next week's crowd will gather just as fast. Not every tradition needs a reason why. Sometimes happiness arrives in the shape of pie. Cut. Lemon pie Thursday, the sign comes off the wall. The chair scrapes softly as the afternoon moves on. Lemon pie Thursday, gone for now once more, until next week when everybody's back, waiting at the door. Waiting at the door. The vinyl's turning lazy in the corner of the room. A trumpet paints the silence with a faded shade of blue. Nobody's saying much today, and that's perfectly fine. The city can keep running, I'm staying here a while. A woman reads the newspaper, folded neatly in her hands. A waiter hums a melody nobody understands. The coffee's getting colder, the sunlight's getting low, and neither seems in any rush to leave before I go. Velvet afternoon, slow as drifting smoke, floating through the window light like a half-remembered joke. Velvet afternoon, soft and bittersweet, the kind of day that disappears before you notice it. Cut. The clock above the counter hasn't moved much for an hour. Or maybe everybody here just lost the need somehow. Outside the world is louder, inside the room is gold. just a quiet song played by a jazz band. Velvet afternoon, the final record spins. The evening waits politely for the night to wander in. Velvet afternoon, one last cup of coffee, one last look around before the music leaves. Cut. Before the music leaves. Two, three. She peeled an orange slowly, like she had nowhere to be. Tiny curls of citrus fell beside her tea. Outside the tram was passing, inside the music played, and sunlight crossed the table like it wanted to stay. Nobody paid attention, or maybe everybody did. There's something about simple things that quietly pulls you in. A page turned, a cup clinked, the room breathed in and out, and for a little while the world felt figured out. Orange peel spiraling down like a lazy little dance without a sound. Orange peel floating through the day, making ordinary moments feel a different way. Cut. The fruit bowl sat between us, bright against the wood, the kind of tiny picture you wish you could keep. Not because it's special, not because it's rare, just because some afternoons fit perfectly somewhere. No big endings, no grand surprise, just sunlight and citrus and passing time. Cut. Orange peel, the afternoon grows thin. The shadows climb the window as the evening wanders in. Orange peel, nothing more to say, just a small and lovely memory of an ordinary day. Of an ordinary day. You always come. You always come around 3 when the sunlight starts to lean. Order something with cinnamon, sit where the plants can be seen. You never look in a hurry, never seem to check the time, like the world can wait a little while you're passing through mine. I don't know your story, maybe that's alright. Cinnamon latte, steam dancing in the light. A little bit sweet, a little bit bittersweet, like every afternoon. Cinnamon latte, that's what they say. But sometimes little moments are the ones that stay. Maybe we'll never talk, maybe we'll never meet, but some people become familiar without becoming anything. Got cinnamon latte, the sunlight's turning gold. Another quiet memory before the evening comes. Cinnamon latte, you grab your coat and leave, taking a little piece of this cafe with you. With you. Near the back beside the lamp, there's a shelf of borrowed books. Most are worn, most are loved, most have that familiar look. But one old novel stays untouched year after year. Somehow a bookmark resting halfway through, exactly where it was. Nobody knows who left it there, or why they never came back. Maybe they moved, maybe they forgot, maybe life got off its track. The owner says he's thought about finishing it himself, but something always stops him when he reaches for the shelf. The book nobody finished, half a story left behind, half a road, half a dream, still waiting through the time. The book nobody finished quietly remains, like a conversation paused in the middle of a sentence cut. Some customers get curious, they read a page or two, then place it back exactly where the bookmark tells them to, as if completing someone else's tale would somehow feel unfair. So the ending stays a mystery, floating in the air. Maybe not every question needs an answer in the end. Maybe some unfinished things become beautiful because they are cut. The book nobody finished, still resting on the shelf, watching seasons come and go without moving anywhere else. The book nobody finished, yet somehow every day adds another little chapter without turning a page. Cut without turning a page. At 8:17 each morning, the bell above the door rings rings twice. Not early, not late, always right on time. She orders toast and honey and coffee with no cream. Sits beneath the hanging plants and disappears into her dreams. Monday brings a blue umbrella, Tuesday brings a yellow book. Wednesday she is humming little melodies she never took. Anywhere beyond the table where they quietly belong. Tiny unfinished choruses looking for a song. 8:17 a.m. The world is waking up. Cars are rushing, phones are ringing, everybody's in a rush. 8:17 a.m. But somehow in this place, time decides to slow itself and take a different pace. Cut, 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 cut. One day she didn't show up. The chair remained untouched. The waiter glanced toward the door more often than he should. Funny how a stranger can become a part of days without ever knowing they've settled in a place. Then Thursday came, the bell rang twice, and everything felt right again. Cut. 8:17 a.m. The sunlight fills the room. The coffee machine sings along its familiar tune. 8:17 a.m. Another ordinary day, becoming something beautiful in a very quiet way. Cut. In a very quiet way. Cut. Two, three. Beside the counter near the wall, there's a cardboard box filled with things people forgot while thinking about a lot. A single glove, a train ticket, reading glasses in a case, a tiny key without a lock, looking for its place. A notebook filled with recipes, a scarf with someone's perfume, a postcard never sent away, still waiting in the room. The owner keeps them all for weeks and sometimes longer, like every forgotten object might help somebody wander back. Lost and found, little pieces of a day, little pieces of a life that somehow slipped away. Lost and found, waiting patiently for the door to open and a familiar face to see. Cut. Cut. Sometimes people come running in, oh thank goodness it's still here, like they found more than a wallet or a souvenir. Sometimes nobody returns and the box grows full again with quiet little mysteries that never find an end. Funny how we're all connected by things we leave behind. A moment, a memory, a piece of time. Cut. Lost and found. is almost full of stories without endings and names we'll never know. Lost and found underneath the counter light, holding tiny fragments of 1,000 different lives. 1,000 different lives. In the corner by the record shelf, there's a table for just two. Not too big, not too small, with the nicest view. Every chair gets taken fast on busy afternoons, except that little table near the vintage tunes. I asked the owner once about it. Why is nobody sitting there? He smiled and wiped a coffee cup like the answer wasn't rare. He said 20 years ago, a couple came each Friday night. They sat right there without a miss until one stopped arriving. Reserved, not by a sign, not by a name, not by a line. Reserved somewhere in time for a story that never really left behind. Cut. Now every Friday after 6, fresh flowers still appear. Nobody knows who brings them, they simply find them here. People notice, people wonder, people make up different tales, but nobody sits there long and nobody ever fails to leave that table as it was. Some memories aren't heavy, they don't ask us to be sad, they simply stay beside us like an old familiar song. Cut. Reserved, not by a sign, not by a name, not by a line. Reserved for a little piece of love that somehow still survives in the corner of a cafe on a Friday night.